Good morning, first day of Chanukah today, Thursday, the 25th of Kislev. We're going to learn Tanya. I just want to encourage everyone to come out to the town hall at 3:45. It's cold, so we'll probably keep it relatively short. Mincha is at 4:20. We need your help for Mincha. Some of us might be a little late rushing up from town hall. Steve will be here to lead and to light. If I don't make it, even if I'm not here by Mincha, hopefully I'll be here the light minor with you guys. In any event, I think it's important. There's been a tumultuous, it's been a tumultuous year at Town Hall, I think for the Jews in general and for the community. And I think it's important for every single one of us to show up and stand together in support of the Jewish community and also to support Am Yisrael during this time in general, and especially on Chanukah and the messages to share and spread more light. Okay, in the Tanya, page 98, in the Chayenu overview of chapter 3, the neshama, the soul, possesses 10 channels of expression. 3 intellectual and 7 emotional, likened to parents and offspring due to their similar birthing process. We'll get into that a little bit. These soul expressions manifest as utilizing the mental and emotional functions in service to Hashem. For example, when you think about Hashem's greatness, and achieving love and fear of Hashem. These are emotions that a person can have and that we have to figure out a way how to utilize towards serving Hashem with fear, with love, with awe, with compassion, with passion. In today's lesson, the neshama consists of 10 faculties, 3 intellectual attributes and 7 emotive attributes. Through man's intellect, emotions are born. That means that we all think like, I can't help it if I'm just in a silly mood, or I can't help it if I'm madly in love with somebody that I shouldn't be. Tanya comes to teach us that yes, you can, because the mind can control the heart. It just takes a lot of work and a lot of effort, a lot of practice. Steve, close that door, please. Or unless the noise is on this side of the door, then tell them to use the door and then close it behind them. Thanks, guys. Each of these 3 distinctions and grades, nefesh, ruach, and neshama, which we touched on very briefly yesterday, consists of 10 faculties. Corresponding to this 10 supernal spheres, which are loosely translated as divine manifestations, whatever that means, in which they originate and from where they come from. And these 10 spheres are subdivided into 2 general categories. Shehein shalosh imois v'sheva kfulos. These 2 categories are 3 mothers, meaning 3 of these spheres are termed mothers, for they are the source and root of the other 7 spheres. As a mother is the source of her offspring, and 7 doubles, the 7 divine attributes called doubles, in as much as each of these emotional attributes manifests itself in a 2-fold manner. That's why it's used. That's why the word double is used, as we will explain. Perush, Chachma, Bina V'das, B'shivas Yimei HaBinyan, Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, etc. So the main ones we're going to focus on, especially today, is Chachma, which is translated as wisdom. It's a lot more, but these are just the general translations and terms that are used to describe these things, and we're going to get into it. Chachma, wisdom, Bina, understanding, and Das, knowledge, are called mothers, and the 7 doubles are the emotional attributes known as the 7 days of creation. Chesed, kindness, Gevura, severity or stringency, and Tiferes, beauty, and so on. The other 4 being Netzach, endurance, victory, Hoid, splendor, Yisoid, foundation, and Malchus, royalty. If you have a book in front of you, you get used to these terms, because these terms, Chachma, Bina, Das, Chesed, Gevura, Tiferes, Netzach, Hoid, Yisoid, and Malchus, are the 10 spheres and are often referred to in Chassidus parlance and for now, for today, and for our sheer purposes, we're going to kind of move through. But these are very important things to understand and to discuss, to have in the tip of your tongue and the top of your mind. Just as the 10 supernal spheres are divided into 2 general categories, so too with the human soul and its 10 faculties. They are divided into 2 general categories, namely seichel, intellect, and midas, emotional attributes. Seichel koilo chachma bina v'das, v'hamidas hein. I'm sorry. Seichel koilo chachma bina das. The category of intellect includes the 3 all-inclusive intellectual powers, chachma, bina, and das. If you take the first letter of each, it's the acronym of Chabad. Chachma, bina, and das. In case you're watching this for the first time and you didn't know, that's what Chabad stands for. Okay, it's nice. It's not just that's just another pretty face. It's not just a nice name that rolls off the tip of the tongue. It stands for Chabad stands for Chachma, Bina, and Das. V'hamidas hein avas Hashem u'pachta v'yirosei u'farei v'chulu, and 1 second, where am I? While the midas, which bear the same names as their corresponding 7 spheres, chesed, gvura, etc., represent the following emotions: love of God, dread and awe of God, glorification of Hashem, and so forth. So love responds to chesed, kindness, as they are respectively. The internal, meaning emotional, and external practical aspects of the same trait. You have love, there's ways to express it. You buy your wife flowers, you hug your children, you see a good friend, you give them a big hug. And then there's internal love. Reminds me of that story. This guy says, I love fish. Some say the Kutzker Rebbe said it, others say it's just our sages. I love fish. This guy says, I love fish. So when the fish is caught, he's like, oh, thank God, he's not going to eat me because he loves fish. So he's probably going to pet me and put me in a tank and take care of me and feed me. Sure enough, he takes a knife, he starts to cut into it. He says, what are you doing? I thought you said you love fish. You don't love fish, you love yourself. Anyway, just the story I thought of when we talk about love, that internally we have a certain love. We have certain love that brings us to whatever it is, and then we express it externally. The Chabad, the intellectual faculties, are called mothers, which are the source of the midas. For the midas are offspring, meaning they derive from Chabad. So now we're going to explain a little bit what Chachma Bina Das is, and I'll give it to you from my level of understanding. Chachma is the initial idea, the initial flash of whether it's an intellectual idea, whether it's a creation you want to make, an invention, something that comes to mind. Then we have Bina. Bina is understanding. Bina is the initial idea I did not understand very well, but there's something there. An invention I want to make, somebody tells me about a certain concept. Someone goes, hey, do you want to learn Gemara? And you're like, what's that? Well, it's this Jewish text. It's an ancient text, the Talmud. Oh, that sounds interesting. Tell me about it. So that's Chachma. Bina is literally like lahavin, to understand. We take the concept, whatever that concept might be, and we thoroughly understand it. However, we go through the rigor of learning and deducing all the details behind the initial idea. And then finally, we have Das. Das is the knowledge. But Das also means that whatever that is becomes one with you. The next day, if somebody says, hey, what's the Talmud? You're like, oh, yeah, it's the sages, they argue, this is what it is. You feel comfortable saying, this is it. Let's use one more time. Let's use another muscle. Person decides, I want to come up with a clever way to light the menorah from my seat, So I want to find a clever way to, so that's just an idea. I don't have the answer, by the way, because you have to stand up on a ladder, you have to move the glass. It's a little cumbersome, it's scary, So then he sits down. Okay, that's the initial idea. All I got is the chachma part, Zalman. Don't get too excited. And then the bina is you sit down and you come up with a thing, and there's going to be a little arm that goes up, and it's a mechanical thing, and it removes it, and you sit down and you work out all the calculations and the mechanisms and the battery power and everything else, right? And then das, we have the machine. It's all up. It's set. All you got to do is push the button, and it lights the menorah. Again, that was just off the top of the head. But the das is that it's actually a part of you, or it actually comes into fruition. The explanation of the matter, meaning of the three intellectual processes described above, is as follows. We have the intellectual faculty of the rational soul that first conceives any matter. Like I said, it's like a flash, it's an idea. Nikra b'shem chachma, we call it chachma, but it comes from two words, koyach, ma. If you Michael, what's that word? Interposition. If you take the letters and rearrange them, there's a word for it. Oh, thank you. Come on. Steve, what's that word? When you take the letters and you reposition them, there's a word for it. I can't remember. But anyways, you switch around the letters and you come up with the words koyach ma, which means, what is this? And I like that even the word koyach means power. So what's this powerful idea? What's this all about? What's the potential in this? So you ask a question, what? Something later on emerges, but what is this now? I have no idea. When one brings forth this concentrated idea from the potential into actual, that's when it becomes fully understood. Until then, it's just, what's this all about? So that's chachma. Anagram? Oh, it's an anagram, Salman. I thought it was with a P, so I couldn't come up with it. Anagram. You take the letters, you change them around in order, and you come up with an anagram. Boom. Okay? Thank you, Michael. So once you have it, you delve into its very depth. As it evolves from the concept which he conceived in his intellect. First, there's a flash, there's an idea, but he really regurgitates it in his mind over and over and over to really flesh it through all the details. Nikra Bina, this stage of the process is called Bina. Bina is that faculty which elucidates the details of any concept and apprehends it full well and in depth, clear, concise, precise. Hein, haim, of, va'im, haloimidois, avas Hashem, v'yirasai, ufachtoi, they, Chachma and Bina, are the very father and mother which give birth to loving God, to love God, and to have awe and fear of Hashem. So where does this all come from? We talked about this thing is very near to you, that you could do it. What's this thing? To love and fear Hashem, to fulfill the mitzvahs and the mandates of the Torah, which are to get closer to Hashem through every mitzvah. How do we do it? So he starts to explain. There are different types of people. There's the tzaddik, the righteous, there's the wicked, and there's the average person that's really not so average, that's way above average, but at least we feel like we can relate a little bit. And he explains that in the person, there are two different souls that are constantly in struggle. Then there's the godly soul. Okay, now I established that, and I want my godly soul to dominate my judgment and judge me in favor, in what I'm going to do throughout the day. And then we start to break it down. Okay, so what happens to you throughout the day? You want to wake up in the morning, you want to say Maida Ani, you want to wash Nagalas, you want to daven. So how do I do that? Because I get all these distractions. Okay, let me explain. There's different things that come to mind. So he's breaking down the different intellectual and emotional attributes that a person deals with on a regular, ongoing basis. So things enter my head. What enters my head? So if it's negative, we have to figure out a way how to push it out, and we'll discuss that going forward. But if it's positive, okay, what am I supposed to do today? Say Maidani. How do I do that? I got to learn how to read, Aleph base. Okay, so once I know how to read, I have to really understand how to read it. Nati did a beautiful job on the laning. He didn't wake up one day and just start reading. He said, I got to lane, I got to look it over, I got to learn how to do it, where to stop, where to start, how to make the sounds. and practice a lot of that. Lahavin, he understood very well what it is that he needs to do. And then das, easy. He opens it up. He's done it a few times already. Needs to review it, obviously, but it became a part of him. Once you learn a particular nig in a song, or something to read, or to lane, or to daven, you're saying Maida'ani, you're saying the brachas, maybe the Yalanisim, practice it over a little bit. By the end of Chanukah, or maybe by tomorrow, look it over a few times, it becomes a part of you. So we want the good deeds and the service of Hashem to be a part of us, and that's what it's all about. When we go through the Tanya, you'll say, Chachma, Koyach, Mom, mother, father, different attributes. I can't relate to this. But when you break it down and you see that it very much is a part of our approach to everyday activity and serving Hashem, then this Tanya really helps us with our service of Hashem. Okay, so takeaway for today is your composition is not that complex. You have 3 intellectual faculties which produce your 7 emotional ones. As long as you think about it, it will help you control what you feel. Instead of getting all riled up, you say, you know what? I see where this is coming from. It's my nefesh habahamis. It's time to focus and exercise my godly soul and to use these different formulas and understandings of the way the Alter Rebbe lays them out to help me in my service of God. Okay, meanwhile, everyone have a wonderful, amazing first day of Chanukah. We'll see you all at 3:45 at the town hall lighting. If you want to come a little bit earlier to help set up, that's also great. And in the meantime, have a wonderful Chanukah and a great day.
Bye.
Thanks. Take care.
Bye. Hey, that's my
Hey,
too.